Elizabeth Arden cream.
This One's Wife. 10 takeaways from Halloween Pap video. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. Halloween has just taken place, which is a particularly celebrated occasion in the United States, with a significant amount of money being spent on decorating homes, hosting parties, and of course ensuring that you have plenty of sweets, candy, to dole out to the venue visitors who have dressed up, coming by and engaging in trick or treat. Naturally, this provided an opportunity for the narcissist, this one's wife, to assert control over the audience, draw fuel from them by way of their responses, and manage her facade by way of demonstrating that she, of course, is a doting mother as she took the littles trick-or-treating. Initially, photographs appeared, courtesy, of course, of Backgrid and Carl Larson, who just happened to be in the area to show this one's wife and Harry, but not the children, which resulted in many people naturally commenting about the demeanour of the gruesome twosome and the fact that once again the children were not seen. However, shortly thereafter, a piece of video footage appeared courtesy of Backgrid, and from that we have 10 particular takeaways with regard to the latest tranche of narcissistic behaviour from this one's wife. Let's have a look first of all at the footage. There you are. So what are our 10 takeaways from this latest slab of life provided to us in relation to the Sussexes? Well, first of all, the children were allowed out, and we actually see the backs of them, at least in the video footage. Yes, they're allowed to engage in trick-or-treating. And naturally, it just so happens that photographs have been taken and video footage has emerged to enable the world to see what wonderful parents they are, engaging in something that millions of other parents do also. But naturally, it's ultra special when it comes to what the Sussexes happen to have done, because remember, if it involves this one's wife, it is more important, more special, more brilliant than anything else that has ever gone before in the history of ever. As you can see from the footage, already Lily has raced ahead. Apparently she's dressed as a firefly and she approaches the house where there are people already waiting. Is it the case that they spend their time just stood at the door to deal with trick-or-treaters for a number of hours? Or could it be that they've already been positioned there for part of this stage-managed footage? I'll let you decide. But there's a third child. As Archie catches up in the rear, there's somebody dressed as a giraffe. Who might that be? Perhaps it was hire two, get one free at the agency over the course of the weekend. Thus, the mystery is, who might Giraffe Child be? The third takeaway is, what a low effort with regard to costumes. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that Halloween was all to do with spooky things and things that go bump in the night. So we're talking ghosts and goblins and witches and warlocks, that you're thinking about vampires and werewolves. I know that it has expanded into perhaps taking the mick by having Jimmy Savile dressed up as something that terrifies young children, or that you perhaps dress up as a superhero as well. So the remit has expanded beyond the classic portrayals of things that are meant to be frightening. Nevertheless, considering the amount of money that this one's wife and Harry purportedly have, and of course that she is a crafter par excellence, you would have thought that once again this would have been an excellent opportunity in the way that she would create a charcuterie platter for the baseball video, that she would spend some time showing us how she's created wonderful outfits for Archie and Lily. Oh no, no such footage exists. Why might that be? Could it be she can't be asked and she isn't very good at it? Might just be. Once again, you see, as a consequence of the oversaturation of this woman, what she does is she gives the game away. That if she really was somebody who was into cooking and baking and crafting in the way that she was, creating a costume for a child would be an excellent opportunity for her to showcase her talents. But we don't see it. We don't see it because she has no talent and she has no interest other than utilising what somebody else has done, which she then briefly learns how to do it to make herself look good. In other words, it's Potemkin behaviour once again. She's not actually interested in the hard graft of learning the skills and spending the time thinking about the outfits and creating them for her children. What's the point of that? That's too much like hard work. Far easier to get onto Backgrid and say, we're going to be walking through Santa Barbara shortly, pull up in a car and video us and film us, and then you can see the kids. Lilibet as a firefly. Great effort. Archie, apparently, according to the Daily Mail, is an ant. Really? He looks more like a ninja or a cat burglar. This one's wife, well, she's dressed up as a dying butterfly. Irony not lost there. But I think Harry wins the best prize because he's come along as a dishevelled, unemployed dosser, and he carries that off with aplomb, it has to be said. Takeaway number 4, this clearly isn't Monty Shit Show. That's a place of mansions and driveways, which of course doesn't actually lend itself particularly well to taking children around trick-or-treating, because presumably people won't open the gates or it's too far to walk all the way up to the driveway to get some candy corn and Hershey's Kisses before retiring, and therefore they've transplanted themselves, apparently, according to the Daily Mail, to Santa Barbara instead. Number 5, what about the security concerns? Here they are, strolling around without a care in the world. No security to be seen. Ordinarily, when this one's wife wants you to know that she's got a security with her, there's a man at least a yard distant from her. Maybe she feels safe because her big manly fox is with her. But once again, it's demonstrative of the fact of the hypocrisy of this one's wife and Harry to bleat about security concerns, where here they are just strolling around quite naturally. The fact is, there are no major security concerns. They can go most places without hindrance or problem, because the idea that so many people want to do them harm is driven by the paranoia of the narcissist. Number 6, it's quite clearly another instance of stage productions of Monty Shit Show, this time on location in Santa Barbara. Backgrid just happened to be there, didn't they? The relevant individual, Carl Larson, just happened to be in his car in Santa Barbara on this particular street when, lo and behold, with no warning whatsoever, along come Archie, Lilibet, this one's wife, and Harry. What happenstance, what serendipity to have found them. As we all know, they've been tipped off to be told, we're going to be in Santa Barbara doing the trick-or-treating, come and take photographs. We'll take a cut of the sale that then goes on to the Daily Mail, etc. And it's good news for you and it's good news for us. We're in the money, you're in the money, residual benefit. And of course it allows her to assert control and draw fuel by way of the pictures being provided. It doesn't fool anybody, and yet she persists in doing it because of course that's the arrogance of this woman. Number 7, there's the suggestion that's been made that the despicable duo were on the sauce. Yes, that this one's wife had a wine cup and that Harry had got a gobble gear, that he was strolling around with some beers. I don't necessarily think this assertion is accurate, whilst of course we do know that they both enjoy getting stuck into the booze, this one's wife with her day drinking and Harry just anaesthetising the mess of his life through copious amounts of alcohol. On this occasion, we don't know what's in the cup that this one's wife is carrying. It could be wine, it could be Ribena. As for Harry, people have suggested that those are bottles of beer. They don't look like bottles of beer to me. They look like those metallic water bottles that are rather popular. It could have beer in it, admittedly so, but then just as equally likely, there could be water in them. So the suggestion that they're boozed up strolling around isn't actually borne out by any evidence, and I think there's pure speculation on this occasion. The eighth takeaway is, it's eerily quiet, isn't it, where they are? Maybe it's a bit too early. After all, the sun is still shining. You can see at the beginning of the video that there are two other people on the street. It looks like a parent and child walking along. You can see them in the wing mirror of the paparazzo's vehicle. But it is interesting just how quiet it is. Ordinarily, suburban streets in the United States are thronged with excited children dashing backwards and forwards. It could just be that it's too early, or it might be that the street has been specifically largely cleared for the purposes of, and 3, 2, 1, kids, run, we'll walk behind you, so that it's caught by the paparazzi. It wouldn't be a surprise when it comes to these two. Takeaway number 9. Does Harry only have 2 sets of clothing? Seems to be that he only either wears a suit, shirt and tie, or that he wears jeans and a polo shirt. Maybe he's restricted to those 2 items by this one's wife, who asserts control over him through clothing. Finally, what is interesting is that ordinarily when this one's wife knows that there's a camera around, she does her best to look glamorous and fixes the camera with her rictus grin. But we don't see that here. Indeed, they look rather dishevelled. They look rather miserable. The rictus grin isn't around. What's going on? Has this one's wife lost the plot? She's there being photographed and filmed. Surely she should be grinning away inanely. Could it be that this is deliberate? That she wants to portray an alternative image? Is it because they're saying, oh look, we're being doorstepped by the paparazzi. It's a security concern. We're going to look mildly irritated. In actual fact, I think what we've witnessed here is that there's been words exchanged between the two of them, and that they've been arguing, and that Harry has been devalued, that she has insulted him, that she's criticised him, and that she's cheesed off with him. And in that moment, her narcissism is more focused on the displeasure that she's experiencing as opposed to trying to manufacture the rictus grin. And that's what you're witnessing, that you're actually seeing some devaluing behaviour. Remember, from time to time, you do see glimpses of this, notwithstanding the attempt of the facade to manage the situation. We saw the death glare towards her mother. We also seen the death glare towards Catherine. We've seen the jutting jaw make appearances. We've seen her give people the stare. This has been instances where the facade has slipped as a consequence of the presence of the ignited fury underneath, sometimes heated, sometimes cold. And I think here, once again, the facade management hasn't been able to do its job, as you've witnessed her displeasure as she and Harry have been exchanging words, because he's done something to offend her need for control, and therefore she has latched out at him. Notice that, unlike many other occasions, she isn't grabbing him with the grip of doom. Harry puts an arm out to her, probably trying to placate her as a consequence of the necessity of knowing that what will occur. After all, those of you who've been involved with the narcissist know that there's only really 2 ways that occur with the narcissist. You either go total no contact, which is the most appropriate, or you spend your life acquiescing to every need, demand and tantrum of the narcissist, which is where Harry finds himself. And I suspect what's been witnessed here is that they've been arguing, he's being devalued, her displeasure is being shown, he's trying to placate her, and her facade management has gone home for the day as a consequence of them strolling along and getting papped in the manner that they have. What are your observations about this video clip and the latest appearance by the Sussexes? Let me know in the comments section. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for watching.